So it is another sprint day. This is twice this month. I don't know. I was just in the mood for it, and I think I'm going to start doing it to where I do 2 sprints a month, just if I'm feeling it, probably the first 2 weeks, kind of knowing that if I postpone it every other week and leave one of those for the last week, I'm probably going to be burnt out or close to it. So we're going to probably do the two first Sundays. The first one will be a specific book. The second one will be whatever book I choose. And since I'm working on The Lost Kids, that is the one that I will be working on today. So you guys will get to see a glimpse of it. I do still have to get the logs in for the more thorough writing vlogs. But hey, join me for a day of a writing sprint. Let's see how far we get. We are about to start. I always forget how hard it is. I guess I don't forget how hard it is. It is hard for me to get into Kirsten's head. She is the character we are starting with. My goal is Kirsten and Caden today. You don't know Caden yet? Actually, you don't know Kirsten yet either. I have a book with Kirsten in it that I'm going to start, or I guess not start, finish rewriting this coming year. And yeah, it also has some other familiar characters, but I often forget that I actually can get into her head. It's just always I forget to, like, I forget how to sometimes until I'm in her head. It's a lot easier to write her once I'm clicked in, but clicking in can often be hard. Like, as far as I can identify her actions, like as far as if I'm writing a scene with her from outside, then I can be like, oh yeah, that makes sense that she would do this, this, or this, because I know enough of her personality. But then trying to reflect it in of she's not trying to be a mean person, because often her actions can come off as like she's just being mean, or like well, she is being mean. But as far as in her actions aren't as mean as they come across. Like, as far as in when you're in her head, you're like, oh, not that her actions are permitted in some cases, because in Star-Crossed Lovers it does. No, not at all. Not permitted in there. But when you're in her head, it kind of is just like understanding of how she got there is like, oh, that makes sense. Not as in I would do that, but as in how you got there from your mindset. I can see how you got there without it being intended as being mean. But from the outside, it's just like, oh yeah, no, that's not, no. But this being a story of when she's a kid is kind of like the start of that. More so like you're getting into her headspace, and she might not be coming across as mean as she is in the current timeline, but we are seeing of how she gets there. I'm trying not to be spoilers. I will get into the nitty gritty and like a more intentional writing blog for this, the writing blogs that I'm doing, but for this, it's just like an overview. I don't want to spoil for you guys. But yes, I took a second. I did start writing a bit because I just needed to get into the headspace, but I did, and I'm excited. So I'm getting her chapter done, which is a little bit of a rewrite of a scene and a little bit of extension of the scene. I'm not doing that with every one of the chapters. A lot of these chapters are just going to be like straight throughs, like where one chapter ends, another chapter is going to start, or at least after. Not a lot of overlap like there is in my current main series, and sometimes other series, because this one is dealing with so many 12 characters, so 12 point of views, so I'm not going to overlap a lot of scenes unless it is needed, and this one was definitely one that was needed. I am rewriting it. It was in Jackson's point of view, but now I'm rewriting it in her point of view. I will show you a glimpse of Jackson's point of view. This is before he can have multiples in his head at a time. This is more so when his DID is more so like one personality after another, after like flipping personalities, and not all in the headspace at once. So this is more so the start of that, which I am loving, and kind of like I enjoy his head because of how like chaotic it can be at times, and how like they conversate with each other. Oh wait, you guys don't know that. I keep forgetting that I haven't written any of his point of view. So yeah, but yeah, at least you know, if you've read my main series, you do know that he has multiples in his head at once. In this series, or this book, he does not. This is like I said, more traditional DID. You see Jackson's point of view, but it was through 3 of his personalities that went through it of this scene with Kirsten, so I'm trying to rewrite it. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm aiming. His or hers and Caden's, and I will see where I get from there. I will show you the words, and then we will do another progress report at lunchtime. So see you then. Okay, progress support. I am excited. I got 2 chapters done, over 2,000 words, and I shall be cracking past 100 pages for The Lost Kids, and I'm so excited. But I did get into Kirsten's point of view, and as explained before, it can be a little bit difficult, but I got it. And even though that was technically a rewrite of a scene, so I had a lot of it down for the most part, just needing her side of it with a little bit of extension. I would probably add a little bit more to it. I put a note there for it so I can come back to it later. But the point of sprinting is to just go as much as I can without thinking too much. So notes are added for later, so to add to. But the one I'm excited about, the chapter I'm excited about, is Caden, because jeez Louise, I know what's going to happen to him through this book, and it's just okay. He's a sweet boy, and it's just, even though he's not part of the Lost Kids in a sense of in the program yet, he does become part of the program later. I want to say in Old Memories he's in the program, but this time around he is not. But I will show you a little bit of the scene that I'm excited about, and I definitely have my wheels of turning of world building, because yeah, I won't get it too much into it because it is some stuff that I kind of want you guys to kind of dig out yourself, kind of contemplate and ponder over and see what's going on. So I'm not spoiling it all for you guys as far as in general of, I think it's fun to have puzzles in there of figuring out what's going on. But yes, this was a scene I definitely rewrote a couple times, not majorly, but I've just like backtracked a couple times because there was different ways I was going to go about it, but I left the basis of what I needed, and I know I'll probably rewrite it later, but it's perfect in the sense of everything is needed that is needed in it. It shows exactly what I want to, as far as in showing just enough of his history so I don't have to show too much, because like I said, juggling 10 to 12 point of views. I want to say there's 12. I can't say for certain. I want to say there is. I think there's 10 Lost Kids in the program, and then there's the 2 added point of views. It showed just enough so I don't have to dig into his too much and add, like, it helps me to be able to add more of his story without it just helps me add more of the story, being able to give just enough subtle detail to kind of dig into his character a little bit more, so you can kind of get an understanding of what's going on, or at least, yeah, just enough of what's going on. And I was trying to juggle it to make it not scary. I know it's not a kid's book. At the same time, my role for at least the adults is if I get the chills from it, I need to rewrite it. And the way I was having it originally, I will show, this will be the snippet that I show for you, but having the voice echo back to him, I was going to have it to where it has it echoing like you read the whisper in his ear, but for some reason, I don't know what, taking a little bit of that disconnect of just saying he whispered the rest of my ear instead of having the actual dialogue there, felt like it was just a little pullback of the creepiness, because even though I do spiritual fantasy and deal with demons and negative forces, I try not to make them like super scary, because I don't want to evoke fear or scare. I want to write about it, but I don't want to get my readers scared. That's, for one, why I do the trigger warnings a lot of times, because I'm not trying to evoke like eeriness in a sense of like spookiness. Like, I want to write if there is stuff there so you know it. So sometimes I have to pull back of my writing, of how I write it, to make sure that the context is there, that something scary is happening, but not necessarily scaring the reader themselves. So that's what I try to do. Yes, but that is what I have, and I'm excited. My goal for the next is to get 3 chapters done, but at least 2. I'm going to start with Sierra's, which is Luke's mom, which is one of the nurses, and then there is going to be Alex's. This is going to be his second point of view for this part, but it was important to get that in. You will know when you read it why it's important. And then I'm aiming to try to get Michael's done. I understand you don't know these characters, but nonetheless, I try to say the names. Well, technically, Michael, I do have a short story that I do definitely need to heavily edit, but I do have a short story that is available on my Patreon with him that dabbles in the current timeline, or more current. It's like in the now timeline, not necessarily 2025, but it is closer to current time. Those are the ones I'm trying to get, but I definitely want to get Sierra's and Alex's, so I'm excited. Let's see how much I can get done today. But yes, until next check-in, which will probably be the last check-in. Okay, final progress report. I am excited, but I did get 4 chapters done. I went ahead and did Sierra's and Alex's and decided to go ahead and wrap it up there because it's already after 5. But in total, my word count is 2,977 for The Lost Kids. But for overall, for today, that is my report. But that is the end of my day of writing. I am excited because I feel like that is a good chunk for this. I did also, like I said, hit past 100 pages, so hopefully we will see how much I get done by the end of the year, because this is the book I'm working on until the end of December, and I'm excited about it. And I am getting more world building in it, and I'm excited, and I don't know when it'll come out officially, but nonetheless, I'm excited about it. But Alex's point of view was definitely fun to get into. I definitely am glad that I did his chapter, doing a second point of view of his in this part. But yeah, that is the end of it. And yeah, that is it for me and for this vlog. So see you in the next one. Or good morning, good evening, good whenever it is for you. It is evening for me, so good evening to you. Goodbye. Thank you.